Hello, we're here with Melissa Skirbel, and you did the movie The Dinner with Schwartzy.
My Dinner with Schwartzy and The Spy Who Scratched Me.
On The Spy Who Scratched Me. So yeah, we can take care of two at the same time.
Two
That's
at
good.
once, yeah.
So you directed both?
I did. I directed both.
So why don't we start with Schwartzy there?
Okay.
How did you come about with that film, like the story and get involved with that?
So Penny Jackson, who was my co-producer, co-writer on that one, it was her story. She had published that back in the 80s as in a volume of short stories. I think it was in a magazine first. And about a year before we started collaborating on it, I had directed a bunch of her short stories for stage down at Dixon Place. So I think there was 5 or 6 of them that we did in an evening that we kind of dramatized. And she had approached me about working together on a film, and we went through some of her short plays and some of her short stories. And the Weinstein case had just broken. And I'm like, we should do Schwartzy. It's like so timely and so perfect. And I know this perfect person to play Schwartzy, Jimmy Pravasilis. Yeah, it all came together really well. So then we took the story, took the immediate parts of it. The story as it's written is the adult Fiona talking about the past. But we made it that night. And just made it I wanted it all to be through Fiona's point of view. I didn't want to come out and have like a preachy kind of Me Too moment, but like as a 16-year-old girl who gets to go to the coolest club and pretend like she's an adult.
And it was an ensemble cast too. So how did you get everyone together for that?
You know, we had some auditions that went really well. A couple of people we knew from the start that we wanted to use. Jimmy and Janine were at the first table read. Trying to think if anybody else there. But once we got the cast together, we had, I think, 1 or 2 rehearsals before we actually shot. We were on a really tight shoot schedule. And I think the rehearsals were mainly, to some degree, mainly to make sure that the young girl was comfortable in the adult situations, because she was 16 when she filmed. And kind of just found some of the character things during those rehearsals, and then just getting in there and pounding it out.
Yeah. I mean, how long did it take to film? Because it was, like you said, you had to do it quick.
We had 3 shoot days, 2 overnights at the bar, and then 1 with the limo and the outdoor, the subway entrance scenes, and everything outside was the 3rd day.
Oh, wow.
So,
what about the other film that you did, The Spy Who Scratched Me? That was a quicker one, wasn't it?
That was a 48-hour film challenge. So I don't know if you've done those. They're fun.
They're fun,
they're
but they're
crazy. So the good thing, so I did actually, even though we finished that before Schwartzy was done, we shot it after Schwartzy. It was kind of like while we were in post-production and I was waiting for the edit to come back. I'm like, let's do this, because I'm going crazy waiting for the cuts. So you see a lot of the same people. Jimmy, Janine, Maureen, Dennis are all in My Dinner with Schwartzy as well. Because when I saw the information about the 48-hour film challenge, I kind of sent out an email. Actually, I posted on Facebook. Anybody want to do this with me? And everybody that was around, those guys all did. The writer, Wendy, who I know from theater as well. And then I think we were all thrown for a loop when we got spy as our genre. We had preconceived ideas for many
different types,
but not that one. So
that's a tough one. That's tough, but
so the brainstorming session got a little messy. You know, everybody had ideas, but finally, somehow, in the percolation of everything, I think I said that wrong, but anyway, we took everybody's ideas, and then the writer and I stayed and kind of pulled the best things. And the fact that we had her apartment building that had this courtyard that we could film outside, she had the balcony area that we could film, like, and the laundry room. So there was all of these locations that we could use that were just there.
Yeah, that's great.
So, and then we decided, taking that idea of the spy genre, kind of like the Austin Powers, but making, instead of the world, this apartment complex being.
No,
So
it's not easy to do that in 48 hours and then to edit it too.
The editor is amazing. I will recommend Zach Terasawa to the moon and back. He is fast. He is sharp. He is good. He is brilliant. Use him.
Wow, that's great. So during all of this that happened, like, I guess you're playing in film festivals, then they kind of stopped, and now they're online for now.
Yeah. And I really wanted to come to Asbury Park.
Right? Oh, it's so much fun. We tried to hold it off, and we're like, oh, we gotta get moving and doing this. So, so what have you been doing since all this happened? Where you been writing? Have you been?
I have been writing. I've got a couple of projects that I'm writing. Got lucky in that Penny and I, my partner on Schwartzy, ended up shooting another short in November, which we were finishing the color and sound into March, and started submitting, I don't know, maybe May or June. So we've been submitting slowly because we don't necessarily want to premiere virtually, but we also don't want to wait forever. But hopefully, late fall, early spring, we'll start seeing that one on the circuit a little bit. And she and I are starting to put our heads together about the possibility. I'm putting this public to force my hand, I think. Looking at turning Schwartzy into a series.
Oh, wow.
All of these characters are kind of, if you haven't seen it, watch it at the festival. There's a lot of really interesting characters, and we think kind of following each of them in different aspects of their life might be worth doing. But we're at the very beginning stages of that, so we'll see.
That's great. Yeah, but it's so hard. Like, are you going to start production soon, you think, at all, or on anything, or gotta keep waiting?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, there's summer popping up, but it's a little weird.
If anybody wants to hire me as a director, I'm happy to jump into anything. But the stuff that I'm working on is, like, I'm writing 2 features, and so those won't be ready for production for who knows how long. Because they're not even written yet; they're half written.
But
so that's where I am with my self projects, my individual projects. But I'm happy to come in as a hired hand.
Yeah. What about going from doing plays into doing film? How was that transition?
It was actually kind of wonderful. I think for years, even when I started writing for theater, I would write almost all dialogue and very few stage directions, because I know in rehearsal the actors and the directors find it, and some of it's based on the stage that you're using, and it changes from actor to actor and from production to production. And I wasn't sure I knew how to write that visually until I started doing it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I do know how to do this. I soaked it up. And then getting on set and actually working, I think the thing is, it's such a collaborative effort. And if you get a team together that works well together, it becomes just very magical. And so having that great DP, the lighting people you can trust, the sound person that you can trust, and letting them do their job, and having the actors that are brilliant. So it's taking all of these small pieces, putting them together and watching them work. It felt right.
Yeah, absolutely. So is there anything that you'd like to promote? Do you have any websites or anywhere people could see any of your work or anything that you would like to put out there?
Sure. My website is melissaskerbel.com. The way that it's spelled there, but without a space between the two. It's a work in progress. I'm updating it as we speak, kind of. And then I'm on IMDb. You can follow me. Life Dream Productions has a Facebook page. Greetings from Sarajevo, My Dinner with Schwartzy. Both have Facebook pages as well as Twitter sites. Yeah, you can find me.
Great. Well, thanks a lot for coming on for a few minutes. And
thank you.
Great,
I wish I could see you in person this year.
I know, right? All right, we're here with Sam Platiski, and you have the Dangerous Kitty movie, right? What's the full title of this?
Last rehearsal of the Dangerous Kitten.
There it is. Yeah, so I've seen it at a number of festivals already, and so about that actually, since it was playing in festivals, then all this happened. Did it stop or did it go online to places?
It's a good question. I think we started last year with this short, and also we have Cupid's First Day in the festival too, and both were more in it last year, and so before this whole thing happened, so we had live festivals. I don't think these two. I think this is maybe our first virtual festival for both of these. I know we were looking forward to going to Asbury too.
Yeah,
we were like, even before like the pandemic happened, we're like, we're gonna go, we're gonna stay over, we're gonna have a good weekend.
We're like, it's September, we'll be fine. Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's all right. It'll be pushed. It'll be nice out. It'll be a little bit cool. It'll be nice.
Yeah. So, it'll be fun. So Saturday all day, we'll be streaming so many films and have a little fun award show online. So at least the good thing is a lot of people will be watching.
I think we may have a social distance party on Saturday.
Nice. Well, we'll tune you guys in then. If your guys are like together, we'll cut you into the award show or something.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Let me know.
We're gonna try to like have some guests, and at first originally we're gonna like, after they win, we'll put them on, and like that's gonna be crazy. I don't know what we'll do, but maybe like after we'll just whoever's on, we'll be like, come on the stream, and we'll just talk to people. Nice. That's cool. Something like that. So we'll work that. So when you were doing this film, you guys worked together a lot, like the ensemble. How did you come out with this idea with the kitten one?
Well, we've been working. Narrowbridge Films is our company. We've been working for a few years now, and we each take different turns writing scripts, developing them. And this one, Dan Gregory and Jenna Kildosher, they co-wrote this script. Okay. And we basically, when we write something, we bring it to the group and we say, "You guys want to film this?" They did that, and we said, "Yeah, sure." So we the crew coalesced around it. The cast, they knew who they wanted in the cast, and we just ran with it. And then somewhere along the lines, someone was like, "Let's Birdman that shit, film it in one take."
One take, right? I was gonna say, that's crazy. I like the first time watching it, I'm like, that didn't cut.
No, we did 13 takes, all one shot. And we planned like there's one shot where like we plan like if we have to cut to another take, we'll do that. We wound up not doing it. And I think we used like take 12 out of the 13. But it was cool because a lot of us have like theater experience. We have like that background. So it was just like doing a play.
Did you have the camera stand still? I forget, or did it move up back and forth at all? Or
the camera moving
back and forth? Was it going back and forth or left to right? I forget.
All around,
everywhere. Just constantly
all around,
constantly moving.
Yeah. So our sound guy Joey Mosca loved that. He had to like be behind the camera guy and just like go with it.
Did it ever? Was there any mirrors? And you see the camera in a mirror at any takes?
No mirrors. Thankfully, there's no mirrors.
Yeah, that's hard to do, and I've seen it done a couple times, not hardly, but like the Birdman thing. But in Birdman they actually cut and somehow made it look. It's crazy how they did that.
Yeah, I loved it. I love that movie. I'm a sucker for anything like 1917. They did that too. They hide their cuts, but it's still so beautifully done. I just love it.
I saw an actual 2-hour film where they didn't, and they just followed the people around, and there was a lot of scenes where it's just like walking to the next scene, and I was like,
was that Victoria?
No, it was a small independent film I saw at a festival. Okay. I mean, it was cool how they did it, but it was like, I think you need cuts. But,
sometimes it don't work.
Yeah. So, you've worked with these guys for a long time, the whole ensemble, and it's pretty cool that you keep switching on and off and all that. With your other film that you did, that you said you talked about before, what was it?
Cupid's First Day.
The Cupid's First Day. Did you do the same thing with the ensemble, or was it different?
Yeah.
Was everybody the same? Yeah.
Pretty much. My brother Isaac Platiski wrote it. And then he knew who. We don't really do auditions too much. When we do, we post it to our like Facebook page and group. Sometimes backstage and all, but he knew who he wanted in it, and we shot it. We shot that one. Yeah.
Absolutely,
that's a fun little romantic comedy.
Yeah, and you guys have features out as well. Where can people see some of your stuff?
Most of our stuff, including our first 2 features, are available on narrowbridgefilms.com. It's our website. You can find almost everything there and announcements for everything else. Our 3rd feature film, Cabin of Errors, is on Amazon Prime and a couple other sites. And our 4th one, Yellow Scare, is available for purchase on Blu-ray, DVD, digital, and you can stream it on Amazon Prime as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Get up there. Getting a lot of them up there, right?
yeah. Shooting and going.
So since all this stuff happened, and we talked about that kind of already, but have you been writing anything, or have you guys, because now production kind of starting in some places, were you able to film anything during this?
So I'm writing nonstop. Like I've been writing nonstop throughout the whole thing. It actually helped me because I had to do something. I was feeling like we couldn't film. So I was feeling like artistically deprived. So I had to write and write and write. We edited some stuff that we just filmed before the pandemic started.
Oh, that's good.
But then I got like a group of my actor friends together and I wrote them monologues to do on their own. I put them together. It's on the website. For
auditions and stuff, or just for them to have
they can use it for auditions, but I put them all together to make a short film of just monologues. I think I called it the social distance monologues or the distancing monologues. We filmed a few social distance skits where like one person's far away from the other person. And then we actually just got back to filming 2 weeks ago. So
that's great. Awesome. So it has it weird filming right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have to follow the rules and do this and that and not go near anybody? And
we try our best. Yeah. It's tough on a set.
But it's small crew too, right? Small crew.
Yeah. 3-4 people.
Yeah.
But it's still you got a small set, not too big. You wear the mask as much as you can, but the actors aren't wearing masks. I mean,
no.
You can. So, and we're right next to each other. So that's tough. And but we try our best, and hopefully, everything goes well.
Yeah, hopefully it'll start opening up more and getting better. But it is around our area, I guess, a little bit better. They just started in New Jersey, opened up restaurants and stuff a little bit. So
movie theaters open this week. So
so that's a good sign. That's a good sign. And do you have anything coming up after this that might be online or they're waiting to screen at a festival outside or inside?
We have some that are just beginning their festival journey. There's one short comedy, First. It's about the story of the first guy to ever take a cell phone dick pic. And I thought of Dan Gregory immediately for that role. So we filmed that. Me and Billy Farley, we co-directed that. So that started its virtual film festival run, I think this summer. It was in Gen Con. And so that's hopefully in other ones as well coming up.
Yeah, that's great. Anything else that you would like to promote out there? You did the websites and your films, but anything else you want to promote that people can go see?
Yeah, no, I'll say the same thing. On YouTube, on Amazon, our 2 feature films, Cabin of Errors and Yellow Scare. You can watch it, share it with your friends, write us a nice review. Those always help us, especially on Amazon's algorithm that pushes it in front of other viewers that might not all see it. Narrowbridgefilms.com. My website, samplatiski.com.
What about what do you prefer doing? Because you guys are all doing different things. Do you prefer directing, writing, acting? What's your preference?
So my first love was acting, and that's how I got into the whole thing. And I still love acting, but I think at this point I like to write more. I have more freedom, and I can just write. I don't have to be hired to write. I would like to be hired to write, but I can just do it anytime and just get my ideas out there. So then the next step is just getting those sold. But I think writing's my preference right now.
Well, I think it's great that you guys kind of like work together and kind of rotate and do all that stuff, and you get a lot of material out there.
Yeah,
doing that.
Yeah, we try. We try.
Well, thanks for giving me a few minutes here. So thanks a lot.
No, thank you, CJ. Have a good one.
All right, you too. See you. Okay, we're here with Eric Lang, and you did the film Special Delivery.
Yep.
So how did you come up with this idea?
It's kind of a long story, but I actually work in shipping and receiving and stuff like that. And one day, me and a coworker were talking about like, well, what if this happened? What, like all these weird scenarios that could happen with getting the wrong item. And it kind of just escalated to what it became. And we were just cracking up, just in the warehouse talking. And I was like, okay, you know what? I kind of like this. I'm going to make a movie. And I did.
Wait, was this your first, or have you done films before?
I've done 2 previous short films. I mean, there's been a lot of attempts since I was younger, but I consider this like my 3rd short film. But this is
are you into comedy, like mostly, or?
No, my first one was kind of like a dramedy. I don't know. They weren't that like. This is. I feel like this one was like the one I hit my stride on.
Yeah.
The other ones were like really long and like I dragged out. But I like dramas as an like an audience member. But I'm kind of a goofy guy, so people are like, you should do comedies. Why don't you do comedies? And I was like, fine, I'll do it. And so I made it as short as I could, and just.
Those seem to work. The comedies that are really short. And I did the same thing. I did these long shorts when I first started. Then I did a 3-minute comedy, and everyone loved it, played everywhere. I was like, well, I guess that's what I got to do.
Like,
right?
Okay, keep it under 15 or something like that. So.
Yeah. And then you get to the point and make people laugh, and they love it. So
that's definitely the best part, is just hearing the audience react. So
has your film played on any online festivals? They switched to online at all, or?
Yeah, there's one I believe it was in Illinois. Like they were supposed to do it in April.
Yeah. And
they ended up just like panic. They kind of had a panic because it was right in the middle of it, and they're like, I guess we're doing online, and it turned out pretty well. So I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, but you can't see the reactions, the laughter, unless you have people online,
Yeah.
So we'll see. We're going to see maybe like after our awards, because it will be a little crazy in the studio with our awards, but maybe after, if people are like on, like watching on, we could like click you in and say hello and things like that.
Okay.
If you won or like nominate or something like that. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We really don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, it's a comedy. Well, is a comedy set? No, we have a few comedy sets. It's funny how that I think there's a few comedies that is playing in there. I can't even remember. There's so many films, but I know a lot of the people that watch the films that pick it really enjoyed it, and they were cracking up.
Thank you.
So what about the actors? How did you get the actors for
it? So Joey, the Joey Gasky, the main actor, I knew him through a friend like way back in high school. And so when I did my other short films back in the day, he was really into movies and always wanted to act. And so he was like in my films from the beginning, even though he was just like, background actor or whatever. And he's actually been in every single one of my films, even the ones that, never got released or anything like that. And so, this was right up his alley, because he's kind of like a goofy guy in person. So, and then everyone else was kind of just like, hey, I need actors. Will you do this for me? And they were like, okay, sure. Like, so there, if you watch the credits, there's a lot of Langs in there. So.
Well, it was a great concept to come up with it, and it's cool that you kind of experienced that too. So that in there. Have you been doing anything during all this? Have you been writing or being able to film anything at all?
I haven't been able to shoot anything. I do. So I work full time, and my shipping job and all that. But
so you're busy then, I guess.
very busy on that, and which is good because I do videography on the side, part time.
Yeah.
But that's that's
kind of
nothing.
gone right now,
Yep,
right? Yeah.
it's gone. Like my biggest client isn't doing anything because a lot of it's event stuff, and so. But I have a few ideas floating around. I don't know if it's going to be like a straight comedy as this last one was. I kind of like the darker comedies, so I'm gonna just try to work on that. I feel like every film I do is kind of like an experiment. I'm trying to like work out and see how people react to it.
Yeah.
So,
have you been able to play this in theaters and festivals before all this happened? Did you get a chance to go and see?
Yeah, luckily I think we played in like 10 other festivals, and then the one online. So I think it's been 12 or 13 festivals we've been in, and then a few of them are online. So
that's cool because it's a good run. Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, this was like we're ready for to be the first," and then all of a sudden, everything got pushed. So some films haven't even been seen yet.
Yeah. So there's a lot of films I saw on like the list that I like my film hasn't played with and all that. So I was like, and we were kind of planning on going out to New Jersey to see all that because we wanted to like hit all the festivals, as many as we could. And then that all happened, and we actually had a local premiere set up for like the cast and crew and all of our friends, and that was April 4th.
Oh wow!
So that was we had to deal with all that too, and so we ended up putting ours online for one day.
Oh, wow! Yeah, Asbury Park's a lot of fun. We have a lot of great time here, especially in that around April, May, because the people don't come down here quite yet, so it's all like the locals and all the filmmakers. So it's a lot of fun. So hopefully in the near future we'll get back to it. So we'll see. And you have anything to promote? Any websites or any people can see any work anywhere?
If like anyone sees this and wants to see any of my other films or anything on Special Delivery or my future projects, just Eric Lang Video on Facebook and Instagram, and you'll find me. So
awesome. Anything else you want to talk about?
I think I'm good.
Yeah. So wait. You can see your other films, your older films on your sites? Or? Yeah,
on my YouTube page, I have all my older films on there. So they're not that good. So I always find like one or two like scenes, and I'm like, okay, I knew kind of what I was doing there.
Yeah.
And so, but a lot of the time you're just embarrassed, and
but they get better and better as you go along.
Yep. So got to keep working at it.
So thanks for giving me a few minutes here, and we're going to try to get this out there.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
All right, no problem. All right, I'll talk to you soon. So we're here with Jenny Elsinger, and you did the waiting room. And can you tell me, how did you come up with this?
Well, it happened very, very fast. I have worked professionally in the sound department in the film business for over 20 years. And a friend of mine, Lauren Littlejohn, who directed, is a script supervisor and has worked for many years. And as you do on set, you're convinced that you can do it better than the people you're working for. And, he wants to direct, I write, and we had this idea. It's like, well, let's do it. Let's finally, do a short. And we've been trying for years, but it's so busy when you're working.
Oh, yeah.
And we had written a more ambitious project, something that was a little longer. It probably would have, timed out at least 10 minutes or so. And it had locations and things like that. And we were just getting so frustrated because it just seemed impossible to work it in to get it done. So she came to me one day, and this all kind of shaped up literally in like 2 weeks. She said, look, we just have to shoot something. Let's just shoot something. Let's shoot a scene. I'll direct it. You write it. And I said, okay. And she gave me the parameters. She said, 1 scene, 2 actors, 1 set, go. And my challenge as a writer was, I didn't want it to just be a scene. I wanted it to, I know it leaves a lot of questions at the end, but I wanted it to be a bigger story and more of a complete story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. So I pitched 3 ideas. I went home like that afternoon, 3 ideas. She picked her favorite, which was also mine. And she said, I just want it to be like a page. And I said, can I please let it be like a page and a half? So the actual script is only about a page and a half, but we both agreed in the storytelling, we want to play the silences. And it's so much more important or as important as the dialogue, what's going on inside the characters' heads, what they're thinking as they're regarding each other. And since it's an independent film, there were no studio parameters or rules as far as you got to keep going. Everyone has to keep talking. You know, the idea of television is talking heads. And we said, this is great. We can just really let them play the spaces. And so even though it's a page and a half, the short times out to about 3 minutes, 10 seconds. And then with credits, it's like another minute. But, you know, the actual story is just over 3 minutes. And so within 2 weeks, because we were both actively working on other shows, we had great relationships with the producers. They said, sure, you want to use a set on stage on Sunday?
Oh, yeah.
We know a ton of professional people. It was the most, I mean, I was so blown away by it. It was a 100% professional shoot because the DP of the show that my friend was working on, he came in and shot it for us.
Oh, wow.
You know, it was 6.5 hours on a Sunday afternoon. And then we got 2 of the actors from her show, from the Fox TV show, The Resident, to be in it. And it was a whirlwind. It was crazy. We couldn't believe the people that came out of the woodwork that wanted to help, you know, that wanted to like, oh, you guys are fine doing it. So
that's great when that happens, when you're doing that. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Especially getting to use the set and everything. That's and then the actors. I was going to ask you, how'd you got the actors for it? I guess that's you know. But
you're breaking up a little bit, but
a little bit. Oh, so did you have this in a few festivals, and then all this happened, and now they're online, a few of them, or were you able to go see it play in some places?
No. After we got it done, when in the process of it, it was shaping up. I thought I wanted to have the option to go to film fests, you know, depending upon, you know, first we thought this was just going to be like a shooting exercise, but it was like we had all these wonderful people helping. I thought that would be a waste to not, you know, try to do the film fests. So, you know, I went through the SAG to make sure it was, you know, a sanctioned project. Oh, and the DGA as well. The first one was the Los Angeles Short Film Festival. Couldn't believe we got into that. And that was right when COVID was shutting everything down. It was like I had tickets to go, and I thought long and hard. It was like March 14th, you know, so it was right when like my job, everything shut down. And I stayed up all night with with plane tickets, and I ended up canceling my flight about 3 hours before the flight. And I didn't know if I'd be able to get back, you know, because flights were shutting down. So we missed that one, and then we're in 4 other film fests, but they're all online. So like 3 of them this week.
Well, yeah, we tried to push it off. We're like, we'll be okay in September, and no.
I remember,
but we tried our best because it's so much fun to have it here in Asbury Park, New Jersey. So, but I guess we just have to move on.
Yeah, I was definitely intending, I would fully intended to go to yours too, because that was one I thought, wow, I missed the one, I'll go to that one. But so it's a bummer. We finally shoot a short, and it's you know. But
have you done anything? Have you been able to write anything or do anything during all this? Or?
Yeah, you know, I've continued with that. You know, the short is actually it's a small piece of a bigger idea. And we had thought about possibly shooting 2 more companion shorts, and it would kind of time out to be more of a teaser. And then I have an outline for a feature that encompasses the idea. It's, you know, it was fun to write it all down because I really wanted to understand the story and my characters just for the short. Hard to say if it's something that will ever get made. And then, you know, I always have lots of things I'm working on, little, you know, scripts and outlines. And so, yes. But
is there anything, do you have any websites or any other stuff that you like to share to people to check out?
No. Sadly, I honestly, it's like I'm so busy with my regular day job, and this is something it's my passion is writing, but I'm trying to like figure it out, and this was just a huge feat just to get the short done. So I'm working on it.
Have you been able to do any sound at all lately somehow, or has it started up at all?
I'm actually I just went back to work this last week, first week back. I work on a TV show called Outer Banks for Netflix.
Oh yeah,
season 2. We're in Charleston, South Carolina, and this was our first week back.
Oh,
it's been interesting. A lot of hand sanitizer, a lot of face masks, face shields. We got our first weekend, so everyone's sort of applauding and saying, "Okay, we got through a week." We're just hoping to keep going, but it's an uphill battle for sure. And we're shooting it was 90-degree heat.
Oh wow,
in Charleston. Face masks. It was rough.
Wow.
I'm actually based out of Atlanta, and tomorrow's sort of the big day where tons of shows are starting up. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on for a few minutes.
Oh, I so appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And thank you for the Film Fest and selecting us. We're very excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. All right. So we're here with AJ Matoli, and you had the film Neon Boys.
Yeah, Neon Boys. I loved directing it. I adored the script. I thought the script was really good, heart-wrenching. It was based on a true story. The star of the film, Jonathan Santos, who plays Ricky, that's his story. It's his story. He fell in love with someone who was in jail, who got out of jail and was go-go dancing. I don't want to ruin the film, but essentially what happens in the movie is how that part of his life went. So it was really interesting to not only have a great script, but also have a person who the script happened to, and have that person be the star. And it was emotional, very difficult to shoot in that way because a lot of things triggered him that he didn't realize was going to trigger. Yeah. But I was very blessed with this cast and really had a great time making this movie.
Yeah, so other than him, like, how did you go about casting the rest of the people? Because it was a great ensemble of people.
Yeah, so Vincent DePaul, we sent the script to him. He's a 2-time Emmy winner for the show The Bay, which is on Netflix. Oh. He's fantastic. I know him as an out and proud gay actor. So I was like, we have an older gentleman that needs to be very handsome, that needs to look wealthy. Vincent DePaul is a gorgeous man. God bless. He is beautiful. And an amazing actor. And randomly just wanted to be in another gay movie. We went through SAG. We did the SAG paperwork. And he, as a 2-time Emmy winner, was willing to do it for SAG minimum, and a little bit of back-end pay, which was amazing. He just wanted to be a part of something that wasn't a heterosexual film because he's, again, out and proud. And so I was able to land him, which was amazing. And then Maddie Glitterati Kinkle, I know him as a DJ, so I just think of him as Maddie Glitterati. I forget he has a real last name. He was in my film Kill a Unicorn, which is the gayest film I've ever made, and that says a lot for my content. So it was outrageously queer and amazing. And Maddie,
was that a feature or a short? Was that a feature?
That's a feature. It's available on iTunes if you're in the mood for some drag queens and a killer unicorn that chases them. I suggest going to see that. And Maddie was in that. He had a part, and I just felt that even though the movie and the scene that he was in was extremely homoerotic, he also passed very well as heterosexual. So I was like, hey, read the script, let me know. He auditioned with Jonathan because Jonathan wanted to read, and their chemistry was amazing. They now have, both of them have different partners, but they fell a little bit in love during the screening of the movie, during the filming, and that when you're doing a love story definitely helps. The chemistry was real, and it was, after doing a read together, they were like all about each other, and that really transferred to the screen, which was amazing. And then John Strand, the who has a bit part. He's the very attractive bartender. He was brought in through Vincent DePaul because he was an influencer. So he has hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram. And then we have the lovely Tim Moss, who plays Big Daddy, and Tim has been in, I would say, 75% of my films.
Oh, yeah.
It was the first time he wasn't part of a comedy, and watching him in a serious role and cursing at people and being a bit of a dick was such a delight to watch him, because he looked the part, and I was like, "Are you going to be able to do this? Are you going to be able to actually be the part?" And everyone that sees it is like, I can't believe how great he is in that movie. Yeah, so it was a great cast. It really, I was very lucky and very blessed with the cast and the crew. You know, and I'll always shout out my director of photography, Corey Green. He's 2-time Emmy nominee editor, and he shoots my movies and makes my art look fantastic. So he elevates me for sure. So I always like to give him a shout out.
Are you working on anything? Were you writing anything during this time, or able to shoot anything somehow? Or
during COVID, I randomly opened a distribution company. I decided that after 10 years of producing and trying to, I got into producing because I worked with so many terrible producers who would sexually harass women on set, who would say off-color things, who would misgender people. And I started producing because I was like, we're going to do this right, and we're going to treat actresses with respect, and we're going to treat crew members with respect, and we're going to pay them correctly, because it just wasn't happening at that time, in my opinion. And then after 10 years of that, I decided that with all those connections, why not, since I can't make anything during COVID, why not start selling people's movies, start selling people queer movies? And I felt that distribution companies were not doing that correctly for gay independent films. And
really for any films, so a lot of companies don't do it right at any of them, right?
Oh my God, the amount of movies I have not seen a penny back on that have celebrities in it. I'm like, how can't you? How hard could it be to sell this? And now that I'm a distributor, it's not that hard. I'm like, what are you doing? It's not that difficult. I've sold every single film.
Wow.
I have gotten my hands on, which is about 20 during COVID. Shorts, features, medium length, documentaries. I have gotten them on, every single one of them has been put on platforms.
Wow.
It's not that difficult. And I just wanted to be the distribution company that gave a shit, you know? So now that I'm doing that, that was my big 2020. I figured 10 years passed. I turned 39. Let's, you know, it's COVID. I can't just sit here. I'm bored out of my mind. Let's start a distribution company. And the last 6 months has been a whirlwind of greatness. So, you know, I mean, it's excluding, you know, COVID and people dying and protests every day. It's been amazing.
You try to take the good. Like, I've been podcasting like crazy online. You got to do something. You got to do
something. I go to so many protests. I'm in the streets. I live in Brooklyn. We're protesting every night. I have friends that have been arrested because they were out after curfew because they, you know, believed in the protest and believed in the message. And I just found that, like, I needed something art-wise to fulfill, because there's so, you know, you go and you're fighting the fight, and it's so important, but it is emotionally draining. So being able to watch queer films and get queer people excited about distribution and be able to send paychecks out to queer filmmakers and be like, I know everyone's struggling. Look, I made some money for your movie. Has really been a blessing and an amazing experience and a chance to see movies that not everyone has seen yet. And that's also a lot of fun. And so that's what I've been doing during COVID. You know, I made a couple of music videos, but you know, we're not putting those out till after COVID. Just so we did everything. We had COVID compliance officers, but you can't see that when you're watching it. They're not on camera. So I don't need everyone saying that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. When I'm like, well, actually, everyone got rapid tested and everyone got tested 2 days before, and We had COVID compliance officers there, and so I'm just waiting a little bit to put those out.
Yeah, some productions are kind of starting up now. I was talking to someone down in Atlanta just before, and she's like, tomorrow, the shows are opening up tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. I mean, Monica Garcia, who's an actress in a lot of my movies, is on the Tyler Perry show Sisters, and she was saying that like the way Tyler Perry did it was amazing. Like, I mean, he has acres of studios, right? Like, it's easy to do it when you have a lot of money, right? But she was quarantined at her apartment for 14 days, where they paid her to quarantine, and they sent her food this way she didn't have to like go to the grocery store. And then when she got to the studios, they then quarantined her on the studio grounds for another 14 days.
Oh, wow.
She got paid 28 days to quarantine. I'm like, you better have known your lines, girl. Like, if you come on the set and you didn't know your lines.
Yeah, he seems to be. Hopefully, it'll be safe for his productions, because he seems to be doing it right. And I saw him in interviews and stuff. So hopefully,
he's doing it right. You know, if you want to make art right now, you have to do it right. You can't. You know, the amount of people that have said to me like, "Oh, well, just have your crew and actors sign something saying you're not responsible if they get sick." And I'm like, yeah, I could do that, but I could also have morals and not like feel that my art is so important that it needs to be made in the middle of it. Like, I'm not making Gone with the Wind. I'm making queer movies. Like, it can wait 6 more months. You know?
We'll get there eventually.
We'll get there eventually. You know,
it's getting better in New Jersey. How's it in Brooklyn? It's getting better here.
You know, I mean, where New York is doing what they have to do for the most part. Like, even the bars that are getting closed down. I was at one that cops came to close down the other day, and we were social distancing. We all had a mask on. They came at a moment where like more people were drinking than they liked, you know. But for the most part, we really are doing what we have to do. And that you can see that in the numbers with the protests, right? Like, we're all on top of each other at the protest, but we all have masks on, so like it's actually not increasing the amount of COVID cases. Amazingly, you know. So I mean, things are a little bit weird here.
And then when you see on the news, they just like get shots of everyone together. Like, it's not like that the whole time, right? It's just like 5 seconds of shots.
Yeah. They like to paint. You know, I was at the, all the protests. Listen, we are chanting these things. We are saying things that cops don't want to hear. Not that I understand, but I see their perspective on wanting to shut us up. Good, better, and different. They want us to stop, you know. But I was at the one on Gay Pride, where literally we were marching, and then someone had a speaker, and we were dancing outside of Washington Square Park, and these cops just came in. We were literally dancing. Like, we weren't chanting. We all had masks, and these cops came in with pepper spray and batons and just started beating the hell out of people. Like it wasn't gay. Like, the reason we have Gay Pride isn't because of police brutality. Like, dude, you're 3 blocks away from Stonewall and you're beating up queers right now on the anniversary of Stonewall. Like, maybe take the day off and just let us dance in the street. You know, like, who are we hurting? You know. So I do like to stress for anyone that's watching this, because you are your festival isn't queer only, so we might have some people that don't see the truth of what's happening at protesters, and I think it's important to note that like we're mostly peaceful, and like it's we just want the right things to happen, and for people to serve consequences when they do something wrong. So that has been taking up most of my COVID time. Yeah, most of it. Really fun. Yeah, thank you for being so kind to Neon Boys, by the way. We really were very excited to have it in your festival and to be recognized. Because your festival has been around for
7 years now. 7 years.
I was going to say about a decade, 7 years. That's great. That's great. Yeah, we were very happy obviously bummed that we couldn't go to Asbury Park, having such a huge gay population. A huge gay Italian population, which is like.
Oh, was it Italian? I didn't.
Yeah, And
I didn't think about it. I'm like, the restaurants are like all Italian. Thinking about it, like, oh yeah.
So it's all like queer Italians like me, and I was like, oh, I really have a reason to go to Asbury Park and hang out with like truly my people.
I'm usually always there, except for because of this, I haven't been.
Yeah, it's great there. So hopefully next year, if everyone wears their mask, we can have life again. Hopefully.
Now I'm starting school now too, so that's another thing. Like, oh my gosh, so it's like part online and part in school. So just wait to see what happens there.
What grade do you teach?
All high school, 9 through 12. I teach film TV in Middletown, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting. But it's like I teach hands-on film. Like you got it. Like, and now they're like, oh, you can't like work together. Obviously, we don't have enough cameras. Oh yeah, you can't have we don't have the editors at home to let the kid. Like, so I'm like, what do I do? Like,
what do you do? One of my friends and me, we teach technical theater, and when I went to homeschool, we were like, how can we teach them how to build something if they don't have a drill? So it's literally like showing like a power drill into the camera. And be like, this is a drill. Like, I mean, like, how are you supposed to teach how to make something? Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
I'm just more nervous. The filmmakers will be okay. It's the doctors I'm nervous. Like, I don't want to go for heart surgery with the kid that learned it on Zoom. Like, I want to know, like, what year did you graduate?
Yeah. Okay. Wait, you got it in the line?
You actually. Yeah, that's the scary part is the doctors, right? Like, no, I want you learning like there.
So, anything you want to promote? Where all your stuff, where we could watch? Because you have a lot of stuff.
I have a lot of stuff. Yeah, if you go to to my website, Mattioli Productions, same spelling of my last name, productions.com. You can see all my films there. Also, a new wonderful independent streaming app that I help with acquisition for is called Fearless Streaming. They are up and coming. They are amazing. Some of the best independent films I've seen have been on Fearless, and they have a whole channel dedicated to my films. So you can buy my films individually on Amazon, which would be helpful to me. But if you want to watch all of my films and a plethora of other amazing films, Fearless Streaming is really the way to go. You get 2 weeks free, and then for like $4.99 a month, you get access to amazing independent films, the anti-Hollywood, if you will. So that's where you can see all of them, and then most of my films are on Amazon as well.
Great. Yeah. Well, thanks for having a few minutes here, and it was great talking to you and seeing you.
Yeah, great seeing you again, man. It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a minute. I'm happy that you're doing well and that the festival's going well.
Okay, so we're here with Ashley Hardenberg Cartagena, and you did A Single Evening.
Yes.
And so how did this come about, this film?
Oh boy. So, everyone struggles with online dating. And I had some struggles with online dating. I am a bisexual Latina. I was still discovering a little bit more about myself, but online dating was extremely frustrating. So I ended up writing a few songs about it. And then I kind of threw the songs, I threw a little bit of story into the songs, and then I shared it with a friend, and she was like, you should totally make this a short film. And I was like, I don't know. But then she really pushed on it. And then, we kind of made it happen. I reached out to AJ, who also did Neon Boys, and some other friends of mine, Jose, who I worked with on Killer Unicorn. He's also in the film, and he produced it. And we decided, let's try it. Let's make this a film. So this was all sort of from a personal experience, and then we made it a musical. So
yeah, it's hard to do musicals. It's not easy, is it?
No, it's not. I think the hard part is people don't really understand that you really have to get the music right, and the sound has to be stellar. Because if you don't have good sound overall, you don't have a good film. But if you don't have if the music isn't right and it's not mixed right, then you're not going to take it seriously. So it was very important to me to have great singers. And a good place to record the music, good people mixing the music, and so that the music could stand on its own, which it does. So we have it. It's on Spotify. People can listen to the soundtrack. So I'm proud of the songs because they can exist individually and they also work for the story. So
yeah, absolutely. And so when you do that, like I guess Is she singing on the set or like wording and you playing it and then you go into the studio? How did you go about doing that to make it so?
We did it the cheaper way where we had to pre-record the songs. We don't have the ability to really record live. But
it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets really expensive once you do that. But we did some of it. In some of the cases, you know, she is singing live on camera, and then we mixed that to the music afterwards, which was really cool. But almost all of it is, you know, sung to camera, which is actually makes it really easy, especially like if we're filming in the park, we just play the song. We don't have to worry about like, you know, all the car sounds whizzing by. So it does kind of help in that sense.
It does, yeah. And then you were filmed in Jersey City?
So we actually filmed in Brooklyn.
Okay.
But
that's Jersey City. It was supposed to be like.
Oh yeah. I mean, so this is the struggle of being a Jersey girl, especially one who lives in Jersey City. So you're like, I'm in Jersey City. People in New York call it the sixth borough. We hate that. You know, but then they also like to complain that it's really far away. So it's like, you know, and then you're like, you're not real. You are a part of Jersey, but like other Jersey people don't. They're like, oh, Jersey City, it's not really Jersey, you know. So we're just kind of stuck in the middle here. So it was that weird dating experience where I was like, do I date people like in Jersey or do I date people in New York where all my friends are? Like, it was kind of bizarre. So I did end up filming in Brooklyn where a friend of mine had a spot, and we filmed it all in like 2.5, 3 days. Which was really awesome. We did shoot at one of my favorite bars in Brooklyn, Macri Park. I can't wait for things to open up again so I can go back there. And also, I was so excited to get into this festival because it's in Asbury Park, which I absolutely love. One of the places that I'm so bummed that we can't be there. But yeah, what happened?
It's a lot of fun in Asbury Park. We have a great time. It's
so good. Some of my best experiences are in Asbury Park. I just love it there. It's such a beautiful place. So I can't wait till we come back.
And that's it's one of my favorite places I go to, and I'm always in Jersey City as well. So I haven't been there. Brightside Tavern I go to a lot with.
I love Brightside Tavern. They're cool.
Tommy. I miss Tommy. So I went to see him. I had to go to New York one day during all this, which was a little crazy. So I had to stop by, and they were outside. It was like 100 degrees out, and I had, you know, got something quick to eat, and but that was it. But I usually try to get there a lot.
Yeah, Jersey City is really cool. I mean, it is changing a lot, which, you know, as a Jersey City native, kind of scares me a little bit. But I do love the city no matter what. Like,
they just keep building.
They really
building up, right?
Will not stop. Which, I mean, hopefully it's slowly but surely getting its way across the rest of Jersey City. So I think like as soon as they kind of stop obsessing over downtown, they'll kind of start really fixing up the rest and just paying attention to the rest of us who live here, which will be really nice. So,
absolutely. So how did you go about the casting with the film?
That was really tricky. It was, I was trying like those websites like backstage.com. I was on Facebook groups, a lot of that. And I was really, really concerned because I wasn't really finding a hit for the lead character. And so suddenly someone I had worked with on a Sasha Velour project, it was like this sort of music video. She was a dancer in it. And one of the producers knew her and said, you should totally audition for this, knowing that I hadn't found anyone yet. And she auditioned. In her audition video, she did like a sultry version of, it's like that song. It's like, you know, you're not going to get my number. Your friend is in the passenger seat, in the passenger side, whatever. It was so perfect. And it was just like, after searching for so long, she was the one. And also she's like an acrobat, and she was just so stellar. And she was awesome to work with. She was just a magical being on set. She just like got the character. She did the work. Like, she was just so good. And she was nominated for Best Actress at this festival. So I'm just like, it was just meant to be. She's just really wonderful. So
was it playing? Did you have it playing in festivals before all this, and then it kind of like stopped, or were you able to see it at a festival?
I have not had a chance to see it at a festival. Of course, like the first festival we got into was like in Oregon. I didn't have a chance to go there. That was in February. And then of course, March hit. We were just about to go to another festival, and you know, it didn't work out. So I had seen it play in these online festivals. I'm very happy actually that like the festivals are still going through with it, and that they're accessible too, which is really great. Like, you still get to see it in the festival. Other people have access to it that wouldn't normally be able to go. You know, if you go from schedule conflicts, you have no excuse, you know, you can see it. But yeah, So no, I haven't seen it physically like in a festival.
Hopefully soon. If it,
Yeah.
Hopefully soon we'll get that going.
Yes, I'm so excited that it's going to be accessible for people, especially some of these other festivals have had it like geotagged, and it's like all over the place, and they can't access it. So I'm really excited that my Jersey City locals and people in Asbury Park, like they're just going to have access to it. So
we tried it. We were like trying. What are we going to do? How are we going to do this? And we're like, just got to put it out there.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for doing that and not for pushing it to be physical. I've seen some festivals that are doing that, and I just feel like it's slightly endangering to even give people that option. So I just thank you so much for doing this, and we're so thrilled to be a part of this festival.
That's great. Do you have any things you want to promote? Do you have any websites or any other material?
Well, if you are interested, we have a website, asinglelevening.com, so you can check it out there. And of course, the soundtrack is available on Spotify and other streaming platforms. So just search for A Single Evening, the motion picture soundtrack. You can check out the tunes there. And please come to this festival and watch the stream online. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can check us out on Instagram and Facebook at A Single Evening.
Great.
Yeah, that's all.
And then afterwards, we have our award show. So following all the streams, we'll be live in the studio at the award show, and we have no idea what's going to happen. So
it's going to be great. It's going to be very exciting.
All right. So thanks for giving us a few minutes here, and hopefully get to see you at a festival soon.
Yeah, I hope so. I would love to. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so we're here with Ryan Reed, and you did the Meat Hooks movie. What's the full title of that? It's crazy long.
The full title of the movie is Meat Hook in the Mountains. It's a bit of a, it's sort of a spoof on like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre and like Friday the 13th, pretty much. And a lot of the old cheesy, those movies aren't necessarily cheesy, but Friday the 13th is a little cheesy, but yeah, it's sort of a
cheesy
take on a lot
great, right? Cheesy but great. I love those movies.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with this? Like what?
Well, it started out because Janelle Megan, the executive producer of the movie, she put out like a thing saying she wanted to do like a mockumentary of a BTS of a crappy horror film, and then I just came on that and I answered the call and said, hey, I would love to take part in that, and that's pretty much how so that's basically how it started. So I put together a screenplay, and we all read it together and just kept giving ideas, between her, me, and Sarah Teed also. Bobby Sansevero, he's a DP of it too. He was also, involved a little in the early creative process.
Where did you film it?
We filmed it partially in Patchogue in an Airbnb. It was like it was like a cottage, but it like had that like cabin look to it.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And there was a couple of studio scenes that we shot in Ripley Greer Studios in New York City.
Oh, it did? Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
what was that? I was going to the studio.
I mean, it wasn't like a real studio. It was like a rehearsal studio that we just dressed up a little to look like, we dressed it up a little to look like a prop room. And then we dressed it up to look like just, a rehearsal. And we didn't need to dress it up, but we also used it partially as a rehearsal space in the context of the film when they're rehearsing, when the characters in the movie are rehearsing. I'm having a hard time differentiating the reality of it all.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's kind of what the film is too. It's like it's a lot going on, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And so what about the casting process? Like you said some of them were already kind of on aboard.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there was a little bit of confusion here and there, but for the most part, Janelle was originally going to play the lead, but Janelle was originally going to play the lead, and then there was the character Jamie, who was written for another actress who wasn't able to do it, and then Janelle decided to play that role, and then the role of Olivia, that was written for Sarah. The role of Bob, I didn't necessarily write it for myself, but it was like a smaller role. I was just like, I'll just do it so that we can save time.
Yeah.
And then we just put out a casting call online, and and then Janelle actually really handled the casting process really well. And then she narrowed it down to her favorites, and then I sort of picked from the favorites. And for the most part, we were pretty much in agreement on who was, right for the roles and whatnot. So it was a pretty, Janelle really took a lot of initiative with this as a producer. She did really good. It's way too often that actors, they approach you saying, oh, I want to work with you and produce a film with you, but then all they want to do is just act and they don't want to do anything else. Janelle, Janelle really took some initiative here and just made my job easier.
It was good and a good ensemble cast you guys put together there.
Yeah, it was this is for a short film, this is the biggest cast I've ever worked with, and everyone really brought their A game to this. The film took really like a lot longer to finish than I thought it would. It really makes me sad how long a lot of them had to wait, but I think for what we have, it turned out really well.
There's a lot going on. It like doesn't stop from beginning to end. Like it's like I was actually watching. I said that I watched the new Bill and Ted's movie. You see that? It just
I did see it.
It doesn't stop. It's like starts and just doesn't stop. You're like, I was like, oh my god, I need like a break. I need like a slow scene, but no. And so it just keeps going, and that's kind of how I felt like it, from beginning to end, and then all of a sudden it's over. You're like, wow, like it keeps everyone's attention because it doesn't stop.
Yeah, it was. I was actually surprised by how much I liked it. It was, and I like how much I genuinely liked it. It wasn't just like a fun nostalgia trip. It was actually like a pretty fun movie.
But like, and then also the cuts to them talking into the camera and things like that.
Yeah,
it kind of keeps it moving and things like that. I think, and then going back to it and all. So it was kind of like a fun edit. Did you? I know it took long, but was it fun editing? Even though it took a long time.
Yes and no. Yes,
some moments are like and then like why am I taking
pretty much it could be fun, but it was also pretty painful here and there, especially with getting some of the effects done because they're like, as you know, we have some cool graphics in the scene and stuff, but there were some points where there was just this little tiny part that was off. And for the coloring process, it was a little irritating because we put all the effects in there, but then we had to color it, and it was with the way our colorist chose to color it, we had to kind of remove all the effects and then put them back in.
Oh wow!
So that was a bit of a challenge, but and added a little bit of time, but I think the visuals did add the appeal that we were looking for overall. So that was pretty good.
So during all this time, have you been doing anything like writing or actually trying to get some kind of film? Because some people are doing like online films or like by themselves or I've definitely been writing a lot. I've definitely been writing a lot. I took like quite a few online webinars and stuff to keep the creative juices flowing and whatnot. And I had a horror film that I was hoping to make before the end of this month, but there's a music video contest going on that I'm going to be taking part in. So that's probably going to be my next project, is a music video for the contest. It's Enter the World of Hans Zimmer. Are you making this song yourself too?
No. It's like Hans Zimmer, the composer who did The Dark Knight, Lion King, and all that good stuff. Yeah. He just put out a live album, and he's asking fans to make music videos for a choice of 5 different songs, and for each of those 5 songs, he's going to pick one video to become the official music video for the song.
That's pretty cool.
So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool thing to do.
It is, and So I'll probably do that next, and then hopefully see if I can make the short horror film maybe next month. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully to start opening up. I just heard today, talking to someone in Atlanta, that tomorrow all the shows are starting.
Yeah.
So some started, but they're all like the whole production of all the TV shows in Atlanta are starting tomorrow. So that's going to be.
I've actually been like reality television came back. I've been working on a reality show the past since June. And it's been, they're not quite taking all the all the necessary precautions that you'd like, which for non-union which isn't surprising for non-union television, sadly. But I do know that I've seen some people, they're going back to work at Steiner Studios in Brooklyn. So that's really good. Yeah. So hopefully we can get back to a somewhat normal world before the end of the year, even though job finding might be a little harder for people, being that they don't want to have, being that they still want half the capacity for all the sets right now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of shows like this, what we're doing now. Yeah, I'm kind of getting tired of it though. Like in the beginning, it was cool. It's like at least we got something.
Yeah,
like Kevin Smith had a show and they were doing things, and if you saw that, and with some people, and there was a lot of interviews, a lot of back and forth talking, and it was cool for a while. But now it's like, all right, I'm done. Let's watch Walking Dead again.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I was gonna go to a concert last night, but I had to work. It was a drive-in concert in Philly. Yeah, I was gonna go see.
I wonder how they go. Have you been to anything like that? Like, I wonder how it is.
I haven't been to anything like it yet, but the off-putting thing about going to a drive-in concert is that it does come through your car speakers.
Yeah.
So it's like why don't I just listen to a live CD in my house or something? But but it still would have been cool. So yeah, I haven't quite been to anything like that yet. So we'll see what happens. Meat Hook is on the short list for Long Island International Film Expo because they're going to be doing some of the films at a drive-in theater, and we're on the short list to possibly be screened at the drive-in theater. So fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
That would be pretty cool. A cool experience, I guess, something different.
Well, nonetheless, too, like I said, a lot of cheesy horror films generally screen at drive-in theaters, so I think it would probably add a little bit of appeal.
If they should put that,
I think it would add some appeal if they did that. So, yeah,
absolutely, yeah, you'd rather see a horror film on a big drive-in thing than like a comedy or drama or something like that. Definitely. Mm-hmm. It's just that crazy cool experience, or they show Jaws like in pools and in lakes.
I've seen those before. Yeah.
So everyone's getting creative. Yeah, I guess you have to.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have anything that you want to promote? Anything that people could see in any of your work or websites and things like that?
Well, if you go to YouTube and look up 33 Years from 2017, you can watch my old short film, 33 Years, on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, just on Brian Reed. A music video I did a couple of years ago by the band called the Him Band. You can look that up right now. And definitely check out A Single Evening. Ashley is one hell of a director, and Sarah Teed is also in that as well.
And your film is playing, I believe it's in the horror little pack of horror films that we have.
Yeah. And obviously watch Meat Hook in the pack of horror films here at Hang On to Your Shorts Film Festival.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. So it's going to be a long day, but it'll be fun. And then we have an award show after, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining me for a few minutes here, man.
Don't mention. Thanks for having me, CJ.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get to see each other soon in one of these things.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably be coming out to movies. That's going to be going on in Jersey.
Did you get tickets?
Not yet. I'm going to.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Hopefully, if they're still available.
I don't know if they are, but they sold out. But you never know. Like they always come out with more because they don't know. They don't really know what's going on. So they literally sold out, and then all of a sudden there was more. So I'm sure they'll find more.
All right.
Just got to look out for it. But it's crazy how fast it went. Because it isn't cheap, but I guess it's the experience. So I'll be there. I'll probably be there podcasting right outside of movies, possibly. So we'll see.
All right.
We're here with Brett Eideman, and you have two films, two shorts in the festival. You got Night Noise right there. Yeah. And also The Coach of the Year.
Yes.
So, two different types of spectrums there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. One's very, very scary, and actually they're both kind of scary.
Well, yeah, you got the humor in one, and then the scary in the other. So it's that's good. And they're quickies. They're the 1 minute shorts. So
yes, we don't want to put anybody to sleep. So why turn it into a real short or a feature when we can get it all done in 1 minute.
Yeah, I like the minute ones. They come and go.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's terrible, you only got to sit there for a minute.
Yeah.
So keeping somebody entertained for a minute is I think pretty easy.
Yeah, so I believe the horror short, the scary ones in the horror set, and then there's a comedy set for the other ones. So
right, the comedy one actually is a little on the dark side because it deals with people that are kind of abusive. These over the top coaches and parents who are pushing their kids in sports. Yeah. And Night Noise is just a fun little ride, with the nice little ending.
Now, did you? And you came up with the Coach of the Year? Was that was your doing?
Yes. It was something I used to do my stand-up act. Mm-hmm. And Larry Rosen was telling me, you should do some shorts, and I was trying to think of different characters that I used to do in my stand-up, and there's some of them I just can't do anymore because they're politically incorrect. And
but you can do them on film.
Yeah,
sort of.
I don't know if they'll ever get accepted anywhere, but so this piece was based on that, and we thought we could do it, and Larry said we should get a little kid in there, and and the whole deal, so that's where that came up from.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to play this in a number of festivals, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's done pretty good so far. People seem to enjoy it, and we won an award at the Nyack Film Festival.
Oh, cool.
So that was really nice. It was unexpected. If I ever win an award, it's always unexpected. I don't expect anything, and I've said this to you before, when In the Name of Comedy was going around a few years ago at Hang On to Your Shorts.
Yeah.
Winning the best documentary that time was like one of the biggest moments ever for me. It's like up there in the top few. I was shocked beyond belief.
Oh yeah, you said there was tough competition, right? There's a lot of good documentaries that year.
I watched all the documentaries, and I said, don't even put that in your head, And I didn't. I really just went there, and I was kind of relaxed at the awards because I knew I wasn't up for anything, and like there was no chance that I would win, so I could pretty much sit there and relax. I think people that think they can win, they're probably sitting there really nervous.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm not gonna get called up. I had my jacket to the side. I think I just probably my shirt out of my pants. I didn't care.
That's usually when you win, though.
I was just really, really shocked. I was blown away, and it was just so exciting. And I just couldn't believe it. And that's just a really exciting moment. I mean, Hang On to Your Shorts has always been an amazing film festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. A great town, and it's getting better and better and better. So hopefully next year you'll be back in person, and everybody can come down here again. And
yeah, it'd be nice. It would be really nice. It's I was just talking to people before. I'm like, all these TV shows we've been watching are kind of like what we're doing here. Like lately, and it's been cool in the summer to see that. At least they're doing stuff. But I'm like, now I'm getting bored of it, and I want like the real shows to come on, and like they're not really ready yet because they haven't filmed. Right.
Yeah, even game shows are repeats.
Yeah.
So I sit there and I know the puzzle. I saw this one before. Yeah, I mean, at first I kind of liked some of the talk shows without the audience, so they could really have a real conversation, but some of these late night shows are really hurting because
it gets old. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like comedy needs an audience.
Yeah, they really do. Like that laugh. Like they say jokes. There's no laughter, and it's like, okay,
it sounds like
going. You don't know. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen Colbert, he's got his wife sitting down in the basement with him, and she's laughing. So that's nice.
that's it. It's tough, but hopefully they'll start going in the studio because I think some things are starting to film little by little.
I think Jimmy Fallon's going back in the studio now. So I guess
no audience though. It's just in the studio, right?
You're probably right. I don't think there is an audience yet.
They can at least do laugh track, right? They can at least do laugh track.
Make it actually overdo the laugh track. Make it
just constantly on the non-punchlines. Just make the laugh track.
Yeah, every joke will be huge.
That would be good. So, have you been writing or doing anything during this time? Were you able to film something like?
I worked with Tyrell.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrell Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we shot a short. And that just finished. So we did that a couple of weeks ago. Matter of fact, we had a little scare on the set. That somebody tested positive for COVID.
Wow.
And then the rest of us had to run and get tested. I've been tested 3 times already.
Oh.
And then I had to alienate myself for a short period of time from the kids and the grandchildren, like everybody, until I got my results back. And then all 3 of them came back, negative. But and the woman who was working on the film, she was a false positive.
Oh.
But everybody still freaked out.
Yeah, you freak out for a little, and then it's good when you find out that it's false positive. But I'd be freaking out.
Yeah,
I did that. I actually did. I freaked out a little bit because I went away, but it was safe. I went not too far, like Atlantic City, but it was safe. But I had to stay away from my nieces, nephews, and family for a while, so I did. And then towards the end, I was fine. But towards the end of it, all of a sudden, I got sick.
Oh.
And you know what it was? It was we had a storm and the electricity went out. And I ate the food out of my fridge, and I got food poisoning for 1 day. But I rushed to get this test. I was freaking out, so I tested because I thought this is it. And then it turned out the next day I woke up, I was 100% fine. I was like, oh, food poisoning. Oh, gosh. But then, and I still had to wait like 4 or 5 days for the test.
Yeah. That's torture waiting for that.
Torture. Because I'm like, I want to go see my family, even if it's far, but I can't. And so it was a little crazy at that time. And wow.
Yeah, because you start thinking, like, what if it does come back positive? Like, what do you, like, you start thinking all the really horrible things.
But the only thing is, at that point, I was like, I feel good. So then I beat it.
Yeah.
If it came back and I was positive, I'd be like, I think I beat it.
Yeah. So is that
the only good thing? Yeah. So, but
in most cases, people do beat it, but it gets nasty. I mean, I just read a story about a guy who went to the hospital 3 times, and they didn't admit him because he really didn't have the symptoms, but he was saying that he had the symptoms, but they were saying he didn't, and then he died.
Wow.
So there's like some crazy stories, and I'm glad this is all under control, and I'm glad things
are now. Yeah, a little bit, right? Like hospitals they're better at it now, obviously.
Yeah, and I think like in New York and New Jersey and stuff like that, we have a pretty good grip on it. Yeah. But we shouldn't get too cocky. I mean, I pass restaurants and I think past things that I say, like, wait a minute, like these people are just really jammed on top of each other and they're not wearing masks. Yeah. That could really, really backfire. I think with a lot of the schools, it's going to backfire. Tough, yeah. Back in the day, I mean, like when I was in junior high school, I did a book report or a music report. I was in music class. They said, pick a song and analyze it. So I swear that I didn't know this was inappropriate, but I took Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell and I did Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Yeah, and it's pretty inappropriate, right? Right,
and I had no idea because my parents didn't have any hangups.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a hang up, and I did a report and said, well, this is a guy who, he's trying to have sex with this girl, and okay, that's fine. That's what happens when you're dating and when you get older and whatever. And I get my paper back, and there's a big red 0 on it, and a little note, see me.
Wow.
And I said, okay. So I stayed after class, and she was really like very, very upset with me. And she said, this is so inappropriate. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I think she was probably thinking, oh, sure, he didn't know. But I didn't know. I didn't think that song was inappropriate. So I had to do another one.
Yeah. Wow.
So I just picked Me So Horny, and then I was off. No, that was way before that song came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could pick apart a lot of songs and find something that you think can be dirty in it or whatever, or inappropriate.
Well, today it's crazy how much, it's easy. But even with songs like, say we put the films out there, like you can't even, it's copyright and all that. So, it's high school, so you could get away with it, but it's not really all the time. If I play in some big fest, we're just in a big fest out west, and you can't have that copywritten song.
I guess you're in a public school. I guess maybe if it was a religious school, you'd have some issues.
I don't know if I'd be teaching film in one of those schools. I don't know if they'd.
The children's films or something, or animation maybe.
Yeah. Well, so do you have anything you want to promote out there? You have some websites and some films and things that people could go check out.
Well, I have like a whole bunch of things that are like ready to come out. They're already finished. Mm-hmm. Like I did a film called Shimmer, which is a full length, feature film, kind of like sci-fi, and this light kind of eats people up, and pretty cool. That's supposed to come out like any day now, but they're waiting for this whole virus thing to be over with. Mm-hmm. And then I did a TV pilot with Tom Benty. The other film, The Shimmer, was with Rob Ciano, and then Tom Benty, the Gavone pilot that we may end up doing film festivals with.
Cool.
I'm waiting for that to come out, and then I'm just working on like unrelated things. I have a product that's coming out, a UVC product that sanitizes the soles of your shoes, and that's not anything to do with film.
Yeah, but if you want to promote it and people can go check that website,
promat99.com. promat99.com.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether or not I'm going to be putting that out myself, or it's going to be licensed to a company to put it out. I've been meeting with some companies that are interested in either way, it will be on the market soon.
Yeah.
But I really do miss the film festivals and being with everybody and sitting in a theater and watching people's work, and then the Q&As and that became like a big part of my life. I mean, it was like I went.
We did a lot, so I had a lot of festivals.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I went to festivals that I had nothing to do with. I just wanted to be with everybody, and it's just so much fun. And I could never understand how actors or actresses don't show up to their own films.
Yeah,
that's amazing because I've gotten so much work from just being there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one thing leads to another, and don't you want to go? Don't you want to see yourself up on the big screen? Don't you want to see your film do well, like something that you're involved with? I mean,
absolutely.
Getting the part is one thing, but being there to support it and being around everybody involved. I mean, I get such a kick out of watching everybody do their thing, and some of the work is great, some of the work is not so great, and then but so what?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some really, really great stuff at Hang On to Your Shorts and the other film festivals. I usually walk out and go, wow, there's some really good things. And there's always a couple of things that I say, it's all right.
We got a lot going on Saturday. Well, thanks for coming on for me for a few minutes here, and I gotta.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.
I appreciate it. Nice to talk to you again, and I hope to see you in person soon.
Hopefully soon. I hope it. That'd be great. So we're here with Carol Nowak, and your film was Breathless.
Yes.
So how did you come up with this idea?
Well, this was a film that I made for my intermediate class at NYU, and the initial idea came. I was interested in kind of zombies and that kind of idea, and using the kind of zombie form to explore kind of other ideas. So the movie is really about somebody dealing with a pretty devastating breakup for him, and he deals with it by at first dying of a heartbreak, and then he comes back to life as a zombie and is just trying to work it out. So it's kind of more of a exploration of the kind of emotional side of a breakup and what do you do in that kind of situation, explored in that way.
Yeah, so it's more like a horror comedy-ish type of thing, right?
Right. Yeah, kind of like a dark comedy for sure.
Yeah, I think it's playing in our horror slot though, because some of them we do that and we actually fit it in there. There's so many films, so many places to go, right? So I believe it's going to play in. It's a good slot. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people like the horror slots that we put together. So some are really scary and some are really funny, scary. So it's a good little slot to see on Saturday. So what about the actors? How did you go about getting them?
Well, I found the actors on Backstage. Auditioned for them pretty normally, and it was interesting because that was one of the first, like at the time at least, that was definitely the biggest kind of production I'd ever done. It was still, it was a student, and even though it was still a short film, it was a real learning experience getting in the room and auditioning people and like giving directions to the actors in the room. It was an experience that I hadn't really done before, but I was glad how it turned out. And the lead actor that we got, I remember in his audition, I had him. There was like in the room, there's like a table that we're sitting at. We just pushed the table aside. And it was like, okay, so just get onto the floor, die, and I just want to see your process of dying and coming back to life. And he did this. It took probably about like 4 or 5 minutes. It was a very in-depth transformation. And that moment I was like, oh, well, got to get this guy. He was really committed to it. And I was glad to have him in the movie.
Yeah, that was pretty good. What about the makeup? You're dealing with the makeup and stuff when they turn into like, how is that?
Yeah, that was also very interesting. The makeup was done by good friend Becca, and she is a very talented makeup artist. Her specialty is kind of like prosthetic horror kind of makeup. And so the makeup of like the skin on him after he dies, it was a little bit different from the stuff she normally does, but I think it turned out pretty well. We did some tests with it beforehand. It was kind of a little bit inspired by the look of the zombies in the film The Night of the Living Dead, which is shown in the movie. And then she also did the the wound on spoiler alert. There's a wound at the end of the film that she did. That was a lot of fun. And then also with the makeup, I was trying to kind of bridge the gap or straddle the line between sort of realism and stylization in the look of it.
Mm-hmm.
So in the scenes where he's kind of standing up and he's dead, his feet are like red and purple because all the blood from his body is all pulled down to the feet. And even though it's done in a kind of more stylistic way, we try to approach like what would it look like in some way for real. So kind of having that duality of the stylization and the reality is something we try to do and had a lot of fun with, and I'm glad how it turned out.
And kind of still being kind of alive but dead kind of thing, like kind of a mix, right? Like
yeah, for sure.
Still kind of thinking, kind of was it?
Yeah, yeah. So he can still do very basic tasks. He can't really speak, but he can, type in a computer and put himself in a refrigerator.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool stuff. So have you been doing anything during all this time? Have you been writing? Have you been able to film anything at all?
Yeah, I actually I just graduated from NYU this past spring, so about half the semester was online.
Yeah, oh boy.
So for those classes, we had to do like various short films, and before when it was the regular class, we were like in the studio with the cameras and the sets and everything, but then the class was directing the camera, but then it became like directing your phone in your house with your parents.
Oh, no.
So I got my mom to be in a film, and then I've also been writing a feature right now that I'm going to be shooting in January. So I'm pre-production for that.
Oh wow!
Which is exciting. That's pretty much what I've been spending my time doing and watching the U.S. Open.
Yeah, right. So it's I guess that's good timing too. So hopefully by January we'll be kind of ready to go, right?
Hopefully, yeah. We're shooting in Wisconsin, so hopefully things are better, a little better here. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I think in New Jersey here we're doing better. We have schools starting, so that's going to be interesting. But it's actually doing better around here. For it's good. New Jersey. You wouldn't expect that, right?
Yeah.
But it is. It's not too bad. So they just opened up. They finally opened up like indoor restaurants for like 25%. So we're like, but we're like, it's going to take forever. So we have to do this online.
Yeah, I think I got out of school at just the right time. I've been hearing from some of my friends who are going back to school now, and it's just seems like kind of a nightmare. So I'm glad to have been graduated.
Yeah, I know. I got some of my students graduated and they go to the Montclair Film School, and like they're on campus, but half their classes are doing like this, and half are in there. So it's like very strange, and it's film classes, so it's really hard.
Right. I know some of my actor friends are just taking all just like gen eds this year, not doing any acting classes because that
would be smart.
Not really conducive to online learning that much.
No, not at all. So it's a shame. So hopefully we'll move past this soon. But a lot of people have been writing. So it's just been. I'm hoping that like the next few months is going to be some amazing films.
Right. Definitely.
Do you have anything you want to promote? Any websites so people see any of your work or anything?
I actually just released a music video that I directed for my best friend Bria Fournier, who's a very talented singer-songwriter. It's called Rebound Phase. You can find that on YouTube. Search Bria Fournier, Fournier, Rebound Phase, and then my Instagram. You can find all my work there at Carl Nowak III, spelled out Karol Nowak III.
Cool.
Yeah, and you can find anything I do. Pretty much, you can find on there.
Yeah. So, it was great to talk to you and everything, and hopefully, we'll have a lot of people streaming in on Friday and Saturday checking out the film. So that's the good thing about this. There's a lot more people can watch it now.
Yes, definitely. I'm very excited to see all the films.
Yeah. So, when you're doing your feature, are you using people that maybe you went to school with, or like how did you put your production crew together?
Yeah, so there's like 4 main actors, and all of them were classmates with me at NYU, and so I'm writing the role specifically for them, so it's making it a pretty good process for writing because I can bounce, ideas off them right away and just have their feedback pretty much immediately, and it's been a really good process. It's been a pretty quick writing process. I had the initial idea for the movie like in July or August, and so now we have to do the pre-production and everything pretty quickly. We're shooting it a lot at my house here in Wisconsin, and then around the city here. It's gonna be exciting. It's a kind of a comedy drama romance about the kind of unknowingness of the future and the fear of the inevitable void. So
it sounds like perfect for this time, right?
yeah, exactly. But it'll be a fun movie.
And when you like you said, you got some actors from NYU. Do you guys cross over a lot with the actors in the acting program with the film program there?
Kind of, yeah. I have a few friends from the acting program there. A couple of the people that are in the movie, my good friends Samantha and Rachel, who I know from, we were in an acting for the camera class together, so I know them from that.
Cool.
And another one of the actors, my friend Magnus, who's also going to be editing the film, who's a film student, and he's also just happens to be a talented actor. So,
yeah, awesome.
So that's definitely one of the highlights, I think, of film school. All the people you meet and getting those connections. You can kind of know who you want to work with after on all these films.
Absolutely. Like, yeah. And that's why it's unfortunate. Like, my favorite part is filmmakers meeting each other at these festivals.
Mm-hmm.
And we're big on that. We have a lot of people come to Asbury Park, and then next thing you know, they meet for the first time here, and then they work together, and they come back the next year with a film. So that's a big thing that we have here, and we just can't do it this year.
Yeah. It's a real shame. It's a very, very valuable part of the process, I think.
Yeah, that's how I got a lot of work myself, but it worked with a lot of people. So hopefully we can continue that really soon. But in the meantime, we'll do this online. We'll have a lot of fun, and we'll have more people watch your film.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. What about other festivals? Was it playing in festivals and then it just kind of stopped? And has it played on any online ones yet?
Has not. This is the first one. So this is the premiere of the film, and
wow, it's a shame it can't see it in the theater, and oh man, but at least a lot of people can watch it.
Right. Yeah, that's the good part.
No. Well, hopefully, thanks for coming on for a few minutes here, man. And
of course, thank you for having me. This is a lot of fun.
And good luck with the pre-production on the film, and I'm sure it'll be awesome.
Of course, thank you. Good luck with the rest of the festival, and I look forward to seeing all the films.
So we're here with Dan Gregory. It's nice to see you again. It was not too long ago we got a little interview. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you got it. Actually, I was going to say like one film, but you got a bunch of films in this festival this year, don't you, that you're part of?
Yeah, this is my first year officially part of Hang On to Your Shorts, which is a privilege and an honor. And I'll be in Last Rehearsal of The Dangerous Kitten. I play an awkward stagehand. Carmen, I play an abusive husband. Cupid's First Day, I play a clumsy British dude. And Tell Me Something Good, I play the crazy kidnapper.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, man. It's a shame that we couldn't do it in person, but hopefully next season we'll be there.
I know, especially with all those films, you'd be like, bam, bam, bam. See, you probably have some now at the streams. It'll be a little bit easier to jump back and forth if you want to see them. But like, when you're an actor and you're in a bunch of different films, you're like, oh, I got to go to this venue, then this venue, then this venue, and cross over. It gets a little crazy.
That's true. It's actually easier for me. I'm going to have some of the Narrow Bridge folks and some of the cast and crew of Carmen. We're going to have like a little social distancing backyard get together. We're going to watch some of these films, and then we're going to tune in, have some craft beers, and watch the award show that night.
What have you been up to since this is all going on again? Like, have you been able to write and film something? I believe you were talking last time that you got something filmed.
Yeah, the last time we talked, we were, I believe, in pre-production of a short film called Airbnb, and it's going to be like a strong kind of material. So we got that wrapped, and now it's just a matter of getting the final edits, and then before you know it, it'll be sent to film festival. So hopefully we'll make the March Brightside cut, and we'll send it to next year's Hang On to Your Shorts and HorrorCon and everything in between. Then we do some international online stuff and kind of plug it and send it everywhere. Yeah, dude. I mean, you got to roll with the punches and just kind of adapt. That's life. I made my return to we have a theater film group, Brazen Giant Ensemble, that used to meet at the Players Theater in Manhattan, but we returned to Zoom. So I got to play a couple characters in that, which it's a little awkward because you know, with film and acting it's always timing. So it's hard to properly time a delivery if there's sometimes a delay, or you don't hear somebody else, or you don't hear yourself. So it's definitely an adjustment, but it's better to do something than nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so have you been doing auditions on this as well, or taped auditions for people?
No, not as many as I would have liked, but the last time we spoke, I don't think I was able to give you my latest update. I officially joined the cast of the feature film The Big Bear and the Mob. So I'll be playing a controversial role of a police officer, kind of like a racist kind of character, who a really despicable kind of character, but I'm glad to be a part of it. There's a lot of talented actors. Preston Lawrence is playing Sonny Liston. Anthony Robert Grasso is now in the film playing a senator. And yeah, the actor who plays Big Pussy on Sopranos, Vincent Pastore, he's the star of the film.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's cool. There's going to be a lot of cool people that I'm just looking forward to meeting and being a part of it. So that, again, I'm officially booked in that. You know, I signed the NDA that I could speak about it or whatever. And that, just like a lot of other films, were just kind of, you know, playing a waiting game until they could, you know, execute production.
Awesome. So yeah, so you have a lot of films playing in this fest, and then you got more on the rise coming soon for future festivals as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we have stuff coming up for HorrorCon. We have I'm looking forward to Point Lookout. There's a couple films playing there that I'm involved in. So Tell Me Something Good is going to be playing virtually at the Long Island International Film Expo, which is cool because that's my first year there as well. I never submitted there before. You know, they're so kind and polite, and you know, they send emails and they say, you know, 2020 sucks. What can we do? We're making the best of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. Kind of what we're doing here. But we're trying to get people to do these interviews, get people's voice out there, and see people and be like, oh, I'll see their film and I want to work with you. So we're trying to do it in that way, like we do all the time.
Cool, man. Yeah, and Hang On to Your Shorts is a cool place, whether it's virtual or in person. You know, I'm grateful. There's a few nominations that for the films that I've been a part of. Carmen got an NJ Drama nomination, which is like a huge surprise, and I'm grateful on behalf of Jaylene and the cast. Last Rehearsal, The Dangerous Kitten, which I co-wrote, and I play, you know, a silent, awkward stagehand. We got nominated for Best Ensemble Cast, which is awesome because that's like an acting nomination for everybody in the movie.
Yeah.
And Tell Me Something Good got a couple horror short nomination, which is awesome. And my buddy Sean Fewer got a Best Director nomination in a horror. And Sean's fantastic because he's directed some of my favorite things. He's directed Crazy Mike. He's directed the feature film Cabin of Errors and Tell Me Something Good. So he is versatile with the comedy and the drama. So I know he knows how to get the best out of me, whether it be for laughs or psychotic roles.
Cool.
So,
absolutely. Yeah. So you have anything you want to promote? They can see some of your work on out there on any of the streaming services or on YouTube or anything?
Yeah, sure. Yellow Scare is officially on Amazon Prime. So check it out if you guys have it. And Cabin of Errors is still streaming on Amazon Prime. Also, a great feature I did with talented actress Alexandria Pasucci. It's called Infliction. Her feature film is now streaming on Prime as well. I play a small kind of character bit where I play her personal trainer, but it's kind of a comic relief role and otherwise psychological thriller. But it's a cool film. Definitely check it out. And all of my work, roles, and whatever I'm booking or pre-production of, including some interviews that I've been grateful enough to have, like, you know, Cullen on Film, and I did an interview for Vocal on Broadway World. I link all that to my social media. Mostly Instagram is where I'm trying to push. So you follow me at Daniel Michael Gregory, hashtag Daniel Michael Gregory on Instagram is where I have all my material.
Awesome. Sounds great. Well, thanks for joining me for a few minutes here. And, we're excited for Saturday.
Hey, we'll be in the backyard streaming it live. We'll be having fun. The drinks will be flowing, and we're looking forward to it, my friend. Thank you for having me on, and I'm sorry for being backstage like a fool.
Oh, don't worry about it. All right. Thanks so much.
All right, man. Take care.
See you soon. See you. All right, so we're here with Daniel Blake Smith, and he did the film Safe and Happy. And how did you come up with this film, this idea?
Well, I've always been interested in stories about people having secrets. Mm-hmm. And this is a story about an ex-cop who's kept a pretty explosive secret his whole life. And it comes undone one day when he's taking his daughter to see the doctor about a very serious problem. She has leukemia. He's there with his wife, his second wife. Not the mother of the child, of the daughter. And I can't give it away, but basically,
yeah, you don't want to give it away.
It unravels right in front of him, and the audience is asked the question, or confronted with the question: is this guy really as bad a guy as his lies make it seem like he is? Because he does have a really great comeback, and it's truthful when everything's exposed. He says, "Well." He asked his wife, "What do you do when the wrong thing is also the right thing?" And so, the line in the movie is "safe and happy" because he tells his wife that all he was trying to do was keep this girl safe and happy. Yeah. But it's full of irony because now he's in deep, deep trouble over what he's done. So it's that kind of short, but I think it's pretty provocative, and audiences seem to like it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's yeah, we're excited to be streaming it on Saturday. It's going to be streaming. So,
fantastic! That's going to be I'd kill to be up in Springsteen territory to see this. But
right, yeah, it's we really wish we could have it. It's just we tried, we pushed it to September, and now it's like but something new to us.
Well, I've been in a number of streaming festivals, and a couple of them have actually said the festival has gone quite well. Yeah, they had a lot of viewers, a lot of input. People, really get into the panels can be bigger because they get a whole bunch of them on Zoom and so forth. Yeah, and they found it to be not at all a throwaway kind of experience. Really, they might even keep some of those elements in place post-COVID.
Yeah, like we might do this again because we like seeing everyone in person. We have a great time, but I'm trying to get as many filmmakers in a quick interview just to talk about the films. How did you go about with casting for this film?
Well, I live in St. Louis, and we have a pretty robust, we're not LA or New York, but we have a pretty robust acting community and film community, and it wasn't all that hard to find because it's a short, so there's just 3 actors in it. Yeah. And I found 3 high-quality people. The very people I had to audition for one of them. I auditioned a bunch of people for one, but the other 2 I just sort of selected out from having seen their work and knew they were the best in town. And this other guy kind of surprised me. The guy that plays the lead, the cop with a secret, is just fantastic. And really, bought into the character and really, as they say, inhabited it. He didn't just play a role. He was this guy. So I think that really makes the audiences a spark to the show because they can tell there's a lot of conviction going on screen there. Absolutely. So it's been a real thrill to have it. I think it's now been in 30 festivals. So wow. It's been doing really well.
It's doing really good. And then, but you did get to, so since it's been in 30, so did you get the experience of seeing it in a theater too? Before?
Oh, yes, I did. Yeah, I got to see about a third of the way, maybe halfway through this festival run before this god awful virus hit us. And in fact, I'm wearing a T-shirt from one of them. This is the you probably heard of the Beaufort Film Festival, South Carolina. Oh yeah. They have 9,000 people come over the course of 4 days to see films. 9,000. Wow. My film screened at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. I thought maybe I'll have 50 people there. 350 people were there. Wow. So it was a lot of fun. So you miss all that when you can't do it in person. But like you say, think of all the people who physically can't be in, Asbury Park or wherever exactly the theater is. Yeah, they're going to be able to see it on the screen. So that's great.
It's literally one of the venues. There's a couple of venues that we have, but one of the venues is right behind the Stone Pony where Bruce Springsteen has played. It's right.
How about that? I'd kill to be there. That'd be great.
And you never know. He lives right here, so you never know if he just shows up. Were you able to, during all this, were you writing? Were you able to write something new or do anything?
I did. I've got several feature films in what we call pre-production, and that's mainly because, there wasn't a whole lot of production going on. They're now cranking up. But yeah, I've got a film that it's going to be a limited series that Atlas Entertainment that made Suicide Squad and Justice League and Wonder Woman, is taking out to. We're trying to hook up with Amy Adams to be the star in it. We'll see if that works out or not, and get it out to either Netflix or Amazon or HBO.
Cool. Wow.
That's been keeping me busy, and
yeah.
some other independent projects. Trying to find COVID-free places to shoot. That's the new game in town.
Yeah, absolutely. How is it out there? Is it getting better at all, or?
Well, my part of the country, it's actually getting kind of worse. In the Midwest, we had for the longest time just very small amount of positivity and certainly hospitalizations and deaths way down. It's because of that idiotic people like the Ozarks. You saw that on TV, I'm sure. And people living in red country don't believe in masks, and I'm in St. Louis where they do, but it's kind of a little bit of a hot spot, not out of control like it was in Arizona and Florida, but it's not doing well. They don't have any film incentives here, so that's the other factor. Takes Missouri, unfortunately, out of the picture because they don't offer film incentives at all. But New Mexico is one of the places I've been thinking about shooting some films, and they've gone up and down COVID-wise. Back in the day, New York would have been a horrible place. Right now, it's not a bad place to shoot.
Not bad right now. It's amazing. Like you thought the last places would be New York, New Jersey,
yes.
And they're doing the best right now.
Looking pretty good right now. Yeah.
Do you have anything that you'd like to promote? Anything that people can see on any web pages or anything?
Well, I tell them to go see my previous film, Texas Horror feature film. It's on Amazon Prime. It stars Lynn Shay from Insidious and John Savage from The Deer Hunter. Texas Heart's available on Amazon Prime. It's a crime thriller. Real proud of that show. And they can check out what I'm doing on danielblakesmith.com.
Cool. Absolutely. That's great stuff. Oh, I think I just lost you. Oh, it just froze up. Oh, we had.
There?
Up there. Yep. There you go. I am cutting up a little bit, so it should be all right. So you just lost you there for a second.
Okay.
Well, anyway, just I got you in. I was able to do it. So anyway, I just wanted to say thanks for your film in the festival, and it's great. We're excited to show it on Saturday.
We'll be watching Saturday, thinking, gee, I wish we could be there, but that's the next best thing. And great hooking up with you on this, CJ. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks so much for coming on.
You bet. Bye-bye.
All right, we'll start up here. We got Andre Joseph here, and you did the saxophonist. Yes, film that I've seen before at other places, and I really enjoyed. So I was glad that you submitted and be part of this fest, and that it's. I'm excited to have it stream on this Saturday. So
yeah, I'm really happy for this opportunity again to get it seen to the public.
Unfortunately, it's more fun to be there and everyone in the audience, but at least now, we get a lot of people watch it. So.
Of course. And I think that it's almost a weird little blessing in disguise because, sometimes when you're trying to program festivals, I understand, like sometimes not everybody can get to your screening block that wants to be there because they may have other commitments to things. So doing it virtually gives everybody more of an opportunity to see it on their time and, a wider audience for all the films.
Yeah, so we'll have and we're doing it free. Some festivals are like, oh, I get it. We're like, it's so difficult to even think about that. It's like we're putting it on our website and watch the films. So that'll be a good opportunity. I hope a lot of people tune in.
Same here. It's a really amazing film. I've been very happy with the response that it's gotten over the past few years since we first released it, and I think it's also a positive love story for anybody that needs it right now.
Now, so how did you come up with this?
So it started out, I was in Emerson College back in 2004, and I was taking a history of jazz course where I was learning about the history of the music from its African roots all the way to where it is today. And I was kind of inspired by this idea of every artist being influenced by their generation and how they were trying to push the music. I could relate to that as a filmmaker, having to be filmed in this decade. And so I thought, well, it'd be interesting, what would it be like for a saxophone player or any jazz player to have success in this day and age? And so I put it together originally as a potential thesis film, but I didn't really get around to it. It was just too expensive to do in college. And then as I got older, I had worked on some other films. I worked on sets, and I just felt I learned enough as a struggling artist to be able to relate to this material better than when I was a student. So I went back to it, did some rewrites, and then I said, well, okay, if I'm going to do this as a short film, I got to get somebody that can really play. I don't want to just get like an actor that, you know, you have to teach them how to play it or have to dub them over on a real saxophone. So a family friend of mine recommended Evan Lawrence, who studied under Jackie McLean, and he had never acted before. But just sitting down with him and having a conversation about, you know, the character of Lonnie Johnson and what I wanted to get out of him, I felt a good vibe that I felt that he could bring out in a natural performance. And so I wasn't ever worried about the music with him. I was more concerned with getting the performance right. So I worked with him for 8 months and surrounded him with some amazing actors that I think helped to elevate his performance.
Yeah, so the whole ensemble is great, and that really helps out. It's great. And also, like, you know, it's a long short film, but it flows. Like, it's a great story that flows. You know, some films at festivals that are long, you're like, oh, when is this going to end? But it's like, you watch your film and you're like, what? It's over already? Like, and it's long. So, it's because of the story. I was talking to someone about this last night. It's like, it's a long short, but like, we were watching one and we're like, no, but it felt like we went like that because everyone's so into it. So as long as it's a great written story and the acting and everything, and before you know it, and it's just all around overall, just well done.
Yeah, I mean, even when we shot, I mean, I knew we would have to try to tighten it up as much as possible. So, I mean, there were scenes that we didn't get to shoot. There was some dialogue that we had to cut down on. But, you know, there was only so much you could take out to the point where you would lose the
you need to tell that story, right? You need it.
Right. And I felt that passionate enough that I just said, well, whatever the length is, whether it's 15 minutes or if it's a whole half hour like we got, I want to make sure it's presented in a way that it has that effect on the audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it does. It's like, I enjoy it a lot. So I can't wait to, you know, show it out there for people who want to see. And do you have a good music background as well to create all that?
I mean, I don't play professionally myself. I mean, I dabble with bass a little bit, and I did some piano when I was in high school. But I mean, I'm nothing like Bevan, unfortunately. But I mean, I have a very eclectic music taste. I mean, you can't just like lock me down into necessarily being like, oh, he's into hip hop. But I mean, I'm into jazz, I'm into R&B, I'm into rock. Anything that just really I can respond to on an emotional level. And it's mostly a lot of older material, but even the older material has influence on what we have today. So it really it influences so much of even my own writing for the most part.
Oh yeah. And they're like, you're talking about a saxophonist, and you know, in my area here, Asbury Park. We were just talking before the other filmmaker about Bruce Springsteen, and you got the big man playing. You know, unfortunately, and he passed. But his nephew or son, I forget what his nephew or son, but he plays all over town in Asbury Park all the time. So and you know, he's the lead. He's have his own band. He's a saxophonist. He's amazing. So, you know, it's still there. It's still great. I just, you know, I love that saxophone sound, and it's really cool to have in the band, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of chose it for the script. I just felt like there was something sexy about it, you know, like it's an instrument that I think emulates romance. Mm-hmm. And I felt that it was something that you don't hear a lot in other films. So it was just something I felt like for the type of story I want to tell, you know, a guy that's not trying to be a Kenny G type, but somebody that's really more like trying to be Charlie Parker or John Coltrane, then this is something that I think is worthwhile. And to do it in a modern setting where, I mean, in this day and age, just even trying to sell a record now is like almost impossible.
Not easy at all. But so your film, I got to see it in festivals. And then was it ready to play in some, and then all this happened and it kind of stopped? Or I know so you got to see it in the theaters and all that, but did you get any online fest before this at all yet? Or
no online fest. I mean, of course, there were some that were probably out of my area that I couldn't attend, but I mean, this was probably the first one that I was really excited the go-to when it was initially accepted, and then COVID hit, so here we are today. But I mean, I'm always optimistic about these things, and just, I mean, I've been so happy with just the way people have responded to it, that any opportunity to get it seen, whether it's virtual or even if it's in a rec center, I mean, just winning the people on the street, that's really what it's about for me.
Absolutely. And do you have, were you working on anything during all this? Were you writing or coming up with that? Were you able to film anything or?
I didn't get to film anything. I was hoping this summer that just passed that I was going to make my next film, which was a Western film called American Gunslingers. And we shot a trailer for that last summer. That's actually going to be, trailer's going to be playing at the Long Island Film Expo next month, as well as the Wild Bunch Film Festival in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
But we're hoping to get it together this summer and film in Connecticut. But when COVID hit, that affected everything. So, you know, I'm reconvening with some potential investors. Hopefully, maybe by the spring when things calm down, we'll be able to pull it off. And but in the meantime, I have been writing. I've been doing a few treatments. I just finished a short script that I'm hoping maybe I'll get to do next year. And still trying to stay inspired. You know, I mean, that's really the one thing is like you have all this time, you might as well do something creative with it.
Absolutely. And so, like, did you find like a Western town or like a cool thing that when you filmed the little promo for it?
Well, when we did the promo, we shot in Long Island, but we shot at an equestrian's house. I think it's in Suffolk County, and his neighbor happened to have like a barn and a corral, and we were able to kind of frame it so you didn't see anything modern looking, you know, just the two guys kind of standing off. You have the dust going on, and it was pretty amazing. And then we intercut it with some of the main actors in the film posing like they're posing for an 1800s portrait, and they're giving like this monologue speech to intercut between the duel.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. That's fun stuff. I like that.
Yeah.
So do you have anything you want to promote? Do you have websites or any where people can see your work?
Yeah, you can find out all the updates about my projects at ajepyxproductions.com. And I just released my feature film this summer, Vendetta Games, which you can find right now on Amazon Prime. It's also available at Target and Walmart. And that's been doing pretty well so far. A lot of good responses from it. And yeah, and then all the other stuff that I've done, you can find on the AJ Epics Productions YouTube channel and on Vimeo.
Cool. Well, you know, thanks for giving me a few minutes here, man. And it was great talking to you. Great to see you. And hopefully we get to see you again soon in one of these festivals.
I really appreciate it, CJ, and thank you again for this opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, everyone. I'm here with Tom Bragg and Mark Clawberg, the writer and the director of Crazy for the Blonde. What's up, guys? How are you?
Good. Hey, good. Great. Glad to be here.
Not too bad. So, Crazy for the Blonde. How did you come up with this story idea, Tom? Like, you wrote this?
Yeah, no. There was a guy there's a site called inktip.com where you could put up your short synopses. And I put a couple other scripts on there, and a guy liked them, and some guy in LA, and he asked if I could write something that dealt with a serial killer, but funny at the same time. And I wrote Crazy for the Blonde, and there were certain aspects of it he didn't like, so I didn't really want to change them, so I kept it for myself, hopefully to shoot one day in the future, which is exactly what happened.
And Mark, how did you come aboard this project as the director?
I had known Tom for like a good, I don't know if it was a year, maybe a little less than a year. And so we kept bumping into each other, Brightside and Northeast Film Festival, some other local festivals. And I forget what film it is, but we would talk afterwards, compliment each other's films. So he knew that I was an admirer of his, and that I knew that he liked my stuff. And then I guess something fell through with they had a couple directors on, and I guess it just didn't work out. And one day after, I think it was Northeast, we talked at the post party or pre-party, and so I think I'd read the script before that. Did I read the script before that? I had to have.
I don't remember.
Or did I say yes without reading the script? I don't think that happened.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think
So
you read
anyway,
it.
I got the script. Yeah, before that night, I got the script, and it's just, if you read the script, I know the script went around the festivals, won a lot of awards as well. It's just batshit insane. There's 2 serial killers, like an Oscar and Felix type. One is like clean cut and neat, and the other one's just a slob and sloppy. Like, how did he not get caught to date and everything like that? So like, I like the mix of those two. It's just, it makes it funny, but it's also pretty. I think it's pretty scary in some scenes, and it's. I think Tom likes to call it a thriller, which I agree. So there's like that last scene especially. We hired a fight choreographer because we have like a big fight scene. So just just seeing the script and knowing Tom and knowing Alex, and I was familiar with Mike. I had actually offered Mike a role on one of my other movies before this came along.
Oh.
We shot that afterwards, but yeah, it was just a script and the people who were involved with it. It was an easy decision for me.
How was the casting process? I know you mentioned some of the cast there, and how did you get the other ones involved that were in the film as well, especially your actors?
Well, we had Mike Funk. He was the first person to read the script.
Mm-hmm.
I did ask him to come on board, and he did early on. And then bumping into Alex a few times at festivals, he said, "I want to work with Mike Funk." So I said, "Yeah, well, we're kind of doing this thing. We were just starting up." So it just worked out that way, the timing. And then Mike, I actually had another girl in mind for the blonde, but she dyed her hair red, so that was kind of out of the question after that.
Crazy for the red.
Yeah. And there were a couple. There was one other person, but they never actually read the script, or maybe they read it and didn't like it. I don't know.
Mm.
And
Impossible.
so Mike said, he knew this girl from a couple of years ago that he worked with, Kristen Murray, and he sent me a reel, and I thought she was so incredibly good. I didn't think we were actually going to be able to get her because she was so good, but eventually we did go to her, and she seemed to really like the script, and the first read with her, with Alex and Mike, was just it was like kismet, and I had goosebumps the entire time during the read, and I think she's perfect for the role.
And how did you guys go about with the cinematography? With your cinematographer there, did Mark?
That was one of the things that Tim would compliment on some of the past films.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think it was specifically my dad Todd liked the way the lighting was, and he said, "I'm gonna make a movie, or I want my movie to be kind of like the dramatic lighting like that." So we reached out to my cinematographer on that, Grant Olin, who does a great job. Actually, that lighting on my dad Todd practically solo. He had a couple low-level helper, but we had no crew or anything like that. That was like a cheap and dirty kind of film. So we got Grant, and then we got John Hedlund, who I like his stuff from afar as well. So Alex had that contact. I knew of John, but we weren't like close. But Alex brought him into the fold, and we were able to use his magic camera, which was a good decision. And then we got Scotty. We call him Scotty. What's his?
Ryan C. Scott.
Ryan C. Scott. Oh man, so I worked with Ryan C. Scott on two. He was recommended to me by a friend in Baltimore, just as like a PA or like a set dresser. But he came to set with like his grip belt on, and he just took over his grip, so he just became our grip. And he was, I mean, Tom, and you probably agree, he was like an all-star on set. He was amazing.
Oh, yeah, he was great. He was running around doing everything. I think he was definitely a big part of the crew. Sure.
Yeah, so we had our
three-man
team there for cinematography. It worked out pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
And it's had a nice festival run, hasn't it? And it was doing well before all this, and then some online fest, and it's still continuing, right?
Yeah, it's been in 29 festivals so far since September, so that's pretty good. Yeah, it's doing well. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and that's great. Anything else that you guys are working on that you want to talk about? Maybe right before all this happened that you were working on that you had going, or something that you were writing or creating during all this epidemic? pandemic.
The only thing I had going on was that Tyrell Jason movie, Bad Trip, which I co-wrote with them like 2 years ago.
And they finished. Did they finish that up?
Right. That they went back and finished the shooting because the COVID situation happened while they were shooting it, and they had like one more shoot to do, which they did a couple of weeks ago in August, and so that's pretty cool. Tyrell has a modern kind of view of movies, a lot of quick cuts and things like that, and a sharp kind of look. And then we're getting the script I have called Layers off the ground, which with Mark, and he's probably going to direct it. And that's going to take place in the shoot probably in July, August of 2021. I'm very excited about that.
I'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, I'm writing some other stuff, which I hope happens before that. But yeah, doing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, what about you? What about any upcoming projects? Anything you're working on? Anything else?
Well, I still got I got a preparation, the horror movie I made that's still on the circuit. And then I got The Timing Between the Seconds, which is my big drama, which is kind of I would say it's just getting started because I kind of held back a little bit when we went into pandemic because we did I guess 3 online screenings, and after 3 it's cool, but it's really meant for a theater. We rented these really nice epic lenses, and this is cinematography, all the effort we put into it with everything, with Pete's music and everything. It's just meant to be seen on a big screen. And then I anticipate Layers probably more than anything, but since that's in July, I got a couple other things. I know Alex already announced it, so I guess I can talk about Alex's film called The Red Coin right now. That might change, but Alex wrote a pretty decent script. He workshopped it with a bunch of writers, and he's a first-time writer, so it was a good idea, and his spirit and his initial idea is still there. And I enjoyed it. It's kind of like a little sci-fi angle to it. I don't want to say too much more.
Are you directing that?
Yep. He asked me to direct that.
Okay.
I'm actually working on a short documentary, untitled at the moment, but it's kind of about all the divisive political craziness on social media. So it's just kind of like just seeing all this crazy stuff just really like influenced me to see like what it's about, what makes people act this crazy. Because I try to just like stand back a little bit. Like I have my ideas and my opinions, but I don't know. People just seem crazy when they're doing it. And then I just started casting a small little short film. It's kind of like in the vein of My Dad and Bob Todd. It's called There's Something Wrong with Paul. So I'm looking to shoot that just over like a day and a half. I wrote it with actors in mind, and I just kind of finished it. So now I'm starting to reach out to the actors to see if they dig it. And so far, so good. So
great. Before we go, do you guys have any websites you want to promote or see your work anywhere?
I mean, for me, it's just tombragg.net, which I really haven't updated lately. But Mark has his website.
Production company's called what is it? Gray Machine Films, and we're at graymachinefilms.com. It's also on Facebook and Instagram, and then on Twitter. But I don't think I'm on Twitter often, so it's mostly the website. Like if you want to know when like any of the screenings are or watch any of the trailers, it's all graymachinefilms.com.
Great. And you guys, I think your film is in the last set of the night, right before the awards.
Hell yeah.
Crazy with Blonde has 2 showings coming up. Hang On to Your Shorts on September 12th at 7 p.m., I believe, which will be streaming. And then we have one on October 2nd at Long Island International Film Expo, which is 10 o'clock. It'll be virtual and at a drive-in theater at the same time. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks
for having us, CJ.